right. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Dave.
Hi,
Who's with us tonight?
how are you, sir? We're back again this week, 2 weeks in a row again.
Woo.
We're actually doing this whole thing seriously again. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
Well, it's hard. It's still like I still have events out the wazoo.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So do I.
Yeah.
Next
It's
month, next month's going to be crazy.
next
Lots
month is
of
light for me. I've got a late December on purpose. I was like, I think this is gonna
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
Okay. Some of us have a very light December. Some of us have a crazy December. So,
Ah,
which is
okay.
good, I
Yeah.
guess.
So we got Julio with us tonight.
And
Hello,
and Julio
thanks,
is
John.
from what company? I forget. It's a leader in the industry for iPad. Snappic. That's right.
Snappic, that's it.
Right about there.
And, and
So
actually, generally, people get this wrong, but my name's actually Julio.
Julio.
Obviously, in North America, most people pronounce it Julio because of, the like Spanish Mexican, but my dad is actually Portuguese, so it's
Okay.
Julio, so it's a Julio
Julio. Nice.
pronunciation, not Julio.
That's good. That's gonna be a trivia question at some point. We're gonna stump
Yeah.
people,
We'll do that at PBX.
Um,
right?
We'll do random trivia questions from those shows, and we'll give out prizes when
I
we ask people.
I mean, in
So
general, people still call me Julio. I don't get away from that. So,
well, I
yeah.
get all kinds of names, too, but they're mostly derogatory and kind of offensive and
Yeah.
hey you and then blank blank blank. That's just how we are over here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where are you located at?
So I'm in Toronto, in Toronto, as you say it in North America, for some reason. So yeah, living in Toronto now. We were uh, obviously we're from South Africa, and then myself and Rose, who's one of the co-founders, and my wife as well. We moved to like London in the UK, lived there for a year, moved up to Leeds in the UK, and then back to London for a year. So we spent 3 years there. Now we're in Canada, and I'm pretty sure this is going to make our home. So yeah, in Canada now.
Yeah. So why Canada? What was the reason that you guys
Um,
just love
They like
Canada?
the logo on the flag.
Does it have something to do with like the technology hub, or is it just beautiful, or what is it?
no, I don't know. It's difficult to say. I just had this weird thing growing up that I wanted to live in Canada. I can't, or maybe just because of How I Met Your Mother. We loved How I Met Your Mother growing
Okay.
up, and I don't know. It's just something I always wanted to do. And when we came essentially just before COVID, and we were traveling just after the expo. We went up to
Hmm.
Vancouver, and then we went across to Calgary, and then to Ontario.
Okay.
And they basically shut down all the flights back home to London. So we were stuck in Sudbury, which is like a mining town north of Ontario. Well, in Ontario, but the north. We're stuck there for like 4 months
Hmm.
during COVID. Couldn't get home, and we just kind of fell in love, I guess, with the great outdoors. Yeah,
Yeah.
It, it, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. I've been to Canada many times.
yeah,
Because in Pennsylvania we're kind of a straight shot up through New York and then into
yeah,
Canada
yeah,
on the eastern part. And
yeah. I've got a friend that lives in Pennsylvania,
His name's Dave
also
Steve.
from South Africa. I've got another friend who lives in Pennsylvania. Well, I'm talking about a friend from school who moved
Oh,
to the
cool.
US. Yeah,
Yeah. The reason why I asked about Toronto is just Dave and I, we both kind of work in the tech industry. Like Dave, you're more on the tech side. I'm more on the advertising side, but more and
right.
more, I find myself dealing with a lot of the customer service and representatives of these different companies that I work for. They're based out of Toronto or Toronto. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
yeah.
I'm gonna question myself
I
every
mean,
time.
I say Toronto. I don't know, but yeah, it's. I mean, it has become. I mean, it's growing really fast, and there's a lot of tech coming out of Toronto. So yeah, it wasn't really part of our reason for coming here. We were actually just wanting to be close to Europe because my family still lives in Europe and my wife's family lives in South Africa. So if we went kind of West Coast, then it would be like a crazy 3 day travel home to South Africa. So we chose somewhere where it was kind of just, still accessible, because we're still like 7 hours only from Europe, which for us isn't terrible. So we get North America and we get Europe. So that's I guess why we chose it.
That's awesome. And like you said, Art, Toronto is becoming more of a tech haven.
Yeah.
I've heard it termed as kind of like the Silicon Valley of Canada is kind of what
Yeah.
I've heard it termed
Yeah.
as in some articles. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. But we're here. We wanted to talk to you tonight about this amazing product that you have out there for
Thank you.
iPad booths and just
DSLRs.
the stuff that you're doing is pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
You are one of the top companies out there, and tell us a little bit how you got started with or got into this, if you would.
Sure. So it's been quite a long road. So again, from South Africa. So grew up in South Africa, and I just had this kind of itch to just be like an entrepreneur and do my own thing. So when we were still in university, college, we decided we wanted to put these like big advertising screens into like nightclubs around South Africa. Um, we got these booths manufactured. We had, the software done and everything, all Windows based. Actually, I think we used another platform at first. Anyway, we put it in the clubs, and these guys were like, "No, we don't want to pay for this. We want it for free." And we're like, "Well, that's not really going to work for our business." So essentially, what we did was pivot into events. So started doing events. We got a couple big bank clients in South Africa, and then ended up doing just a bunch of events that kind of snowballed into, hey, we're doing photo booths. We started doing check-in, registration sort of things. Teamed up then with a friend from school who had a software development company, and we were like, look, we wanted here. They actually first developed the stuff for these big advertising screens. And we really loved what they had done on that. They were doing stuff in South Africa that like nobody was doing. They were already going to like conferences for what was BlackBerry development back in the day. And then as soon as iPhone started, they were on it. So they were doing like iOS apps before I'd say most of the world was doing it, like right in the beginning. And so, we were just like, well, we want to team up with them. We also kind of got to the point, myself and Rose, where we discovered how expensive it was to like outsource development. And then you lose control over, I mean, we being novices, not understanding software development, we'd be like, oh, we need this done. And then it's like, oh, yeah, sure, we can do this. But there's all these complexities, and then it's going to cost this much more. And you can't control the timelines or what you get or the resources or anything. So we thought like if we have, these other two, which one was a friend of mine and then his friend who owned the software company, Marco and Ray, if we actually team up and we do this together, then we can kind of control everything, and we're not, dependent on finding other developers and worrying that they're going to kind of screw us. And it's been phenomenal. We've been working together since 2012. And we've just had an exceptional like business relationship and like friendship. We then essentially went into doing events and used that bootstrap, using the events that we were doing to fund the development of what is now Snappic. We actually created another app called Checked In, and we used it for all of our events for check-in and registration. And we looked at the market and we saw a much bigger, opportunity in like the niche market, in a sense, the niche market of like photo booths, versus going into check-in and registration where there were already like really, really big players. And so, then we started developing Snappic from that point, the four of us together. And that just, I guess, brings us to today.
That's really cool. I remember personally, I remember meeting you way back when you were first starting, uh, and you were posting in the groups and things like that. Um,
Yeah.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I still have customers come to us at the expo and are like, yeah, I remember you called me years ago to sell Snappic because I was just calling random people and just being like, look, will you try our app?
right.
Yeah. I think our starting point was we wanted to have DSLR with iPad, and we
Mhm.
actually went to the show, I think it was in 2016 to the expo, and we'd integrated with what was back in the day, this like Canon wireless camera, and we'd integrated with it and everything was amazing and testing in the office, and we're like, this is awesome. We get to Vegas and everybody knows the internet and Wi-Fi quality in the expo on the expo floor. So it
Horrible.
literally didn't work. We were like, so we were like, yeah, I think we just pack it up and we leave. And then we just started showing people the app, and they loved it. So we kind of just didn't really talk much about the camera integration and more just the app. And yeah, people loved it, and just from there we just kind of built on that.
Well, I find your product to be very intuitive and easy to move around in, and the features that you have that come standard. Um, I know a lot of the bigger companies that do corporate activations with iPads and things like that. I love checking out the software when I'm at different events and expos and things of that nature. And behind the scenes, you can kind of tell when they're using your
Yeah,
product, and
yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to see it out there because if these big companies are using it, that it's got to be something that's reliable and you know e- easy to roll out for activations. You
well,
know,
yeah, I think, I mean,
um,
that's obviously been our primary focus, is to focus on the big companies and giving them features that they can use to really like upsell and like scale. And I mean, I think the thing that we found, and this is why I'm really open to, I guess, everyone in the industry doing well and making money and like everyone thriving, because at the end of the day, in general, we find like a lot of our users are using multiple things. I think James even has touched on this before. Like it is a case of like, it's not necessarily like we're fighting Snappic versus Curator versus TouchPix. It's like people generally will have like, you know, all three or even more, and they'll use it for specific things. And I think those users are really thriving because
Mhm.
they're like adapting. Oh, okay, you know, this platform has this, I can use it for this, or this platform's better if I have a small event and it's cheaper, so I can make more money on this particular event because it's a birthday or whatever. But then I'm running a corporate function, then I need another particular software. And I mean, hoping that they use us. But the point is that, you know, you can chop and change, and I think that's really good. So we're not fighting for, I mean, obviously, the product, our product, is expensive when you compare it to some of the other guys, and it compares well to, you know, some of our other competitors. But in general, we try to keep. I mean, we haven't changed our pricing since we launched. Really, it's never gone up. It's actually come down. And if you, I guess, think of inflation, everything that's happening, what we're trying to do is just provide more and more value for the same price. And it's gotten to the point where the system is so complex that like adding one feature, we always laugh about it because someone will post on Facebook and be like, oh, why don't you just add this? It's probably just like 3 lines of code. And we're like, yes, that's probably the case, but it has to integrate with like hundreds of thousands of other lines of code that are doing different things. And the way that the system works is like super complex. So we have like, we've added more to our team this year, and we really are like building, you know, for the future, and to actually get out really like solid, reliable features um, going forward. And that's just kind of what we're focused on.
so somebody commented. I wish there was a way to take an individual retake an individual photo when doing a session. Is there not a retake feature? I
I
thought
mean,
there was.
there definitely is a retake feature,
Okay. I was going to say because
unless they're
I remember
talking about
using
maybe when there's multiple. I don't know.
Maybe.
it. Yeah, I don't know if that's
Yeah, no,
yeah, because I was pretty sure
there
that I've
definitely
used it
is. Yeah, yeah. No,
in
there
the past.
definitely is a retake feature. Yeah,
So what
I
what are
think
what are
that's. I
some?
think.
Go ahead.
Well, sorry. Let me touch on this. I think the thing for us is it is pretty difficult because of the sheer size of the platform. We always find it being the case that we'll get to like the expo, or we're doing, one of our classes where someone's like, oh, hey, I didn't even realize you had that feature. Because again, we built this platform, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, or whatever it is. And when you build something like that and you've never kind of redone, the whole thing from scratch, we had to kind of strategically place things. And sometimes it's harder, to get that right with the UI and the UX, so that people, it's completely obvious to them. So a lot of the features we do have, it's just about kind of learning where are those, how do I activate them, how do I use them, that sort of thing. So
Right.
that is kind of what we're trying to do now, is just educate our current users and obviously new users as to like what it is that we can offer, because it's a lot.
So do you have online tutorials either on
So yeah, we
YouTube
actually
or?
run. Yeah, so we've got tutorials. We do a masterclass once or twice every month, and that Demir runs, and sometimes Ryan from Urban Events. So we do that. We've also obviously got like our YouTube channel. We've got a whole help center. We do demo calls. Also, I think 4 or 5 times a week, so you can jump on a group demo and run through new features. And then obviously, like if you have any questions or they want to run through an event setup or anything. So we've got a lot of different ways. We've obviously got our 24-hour support that's open 365. So you can chat to support at any point. So we've tried to build that. It's just obviously difficult to support so many users and so many different, like, I guess, ways to use the product.
You're worldwide, so I know that
Yeah.
I've talked to people all over the world that are using your product, and so what's the largest event that you know of that has used Snappic? Do you know?
I mean, I know of a lot, but I'm not quite sure I'm allowed to say.
Well,
So,
yeah, that's the other
um,
part. That was kind of what I was asking. If there was something
yeah.
like an activation that you could speak about. I mean, I know
I
Ryan
mean,
does a lot of events and big activations.
well, that's the thing. I mean, you can see on our site, we obviously talk about Zach from Studio Z,
Yep.
Tag Prints, Nikki Outsnap. Like a lot of them do massive events. We've got customers in the UK that do massive events. I'm not sure if I can name them, but they essentially do all the movie premieres in the
Mhm.
UK, all using Snappic. They do Marvel, Disney, Mission Impossible, pretty much anything big that's happening in terms of a brand or whatever in London, they're doing it, and they're using our platform.
Well,
So
I I know somebody here in the U.S. that does a lot of that. Here, and
yeah,
he uses Snappic for his events. Um, and he posts his different premieres and things like that. Aldo, it does a
yeah,
phenomenal
yeah,
job, and I've
yeah,
done some labeling for him, and in the background we're always using Snappic when we're using the
yeah.
iPads.
Yeah, no, that's the thing we do have. I mean, that's been our focus. We wanted to focus on the higher end of the market, but also be able to cater to anyone. And I think that's helped us succeed because we can provide super stable, reliable products that are like, say, cutting edge, innovative to that part of the market, and then it obviously filters down so that everyone can enjoy those features.
So you have different packages Like you have like per event, and then you have like, do you have a monthly? And
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you have.
So I think that's yeah, I think it's important again for I guess the viewers, like we get stuck in this kind of price war thing where again, I think a lot of our customers that are doing well, they're using a multitude of products, but even just looking at our pricing plan, generally people don't even realize how flexible we've made the pricing. Like you can purchase per event, you can get monthly, you can get annually, but if you're on an annual, you can also just purchase, a single event additionally or add a license. Or if you wanted to do a monthly and add an additional event to it, you can. Like we've made it super flexible so that, someone can essentially scale if they need to. It's a lot harder, obviously, across packages like Enterprise and Pro. But if you're on like an Enterprise, you can get, an event if you needed once off. So the cost isn't like, oh, I need to purchase a whole nother device or I need to upgrade the package or whatever. So we've tried to be super flexible. I think the industry, we try to come in and do a completely SaaS model and just charge people monthly or annually, and that's it. But I think the industry in general is used to paying like for license, unlimited, like a lifetime license. And obviously that doesn't really fit our industry. So we really have, tried to be as flexible as possible and, create, I guess, the most like stable and feature rich platform. And that's obviously just continually getting better.
Well, I see you integrate with a lot of other manufacturers for like the LED lighting for the booths, so you can have the integrated lights, when the countdown gets to one, it goes from the colorful lights
Yeah, yeah.
to the boot. And you also integrate with the 360 platforms now also, I believe. And
Yeah, so 360, also those like robotic arms. So we've integrated with Booth Workshop on their bot. So we've got that full integration as well. So we're doing pretty much across the board in terms of hardware. And then we've also integrated with like some generic controllers. So if people wanted to kind of buy a controller and create their own booth or whatever, they can also do that. So we've got quite a bit of ways through on integration with a whole bunch of different products and across different, I guess, types of products as well.
so you're not proprietary to one just your stuff. You're out there and able to work on with multiple systems and interface with multiple manufacturers and things like that, which I think is key, for your brand and for people that for on the hardware side, have the different designs and things like that. I mean, I know for myself, I
Yeah.
have multiple types of software, multiple types of booths, and it's whatever booth fits the event that I'm catering to. Whether it be
Well,
DSLR, GoPro, iPad, the whole nine yards. So that I think that you having that diversiveness with the different products, hardware products that are out there, I think that kind of really helps also. And a lot,
yeah.
and that's
Look, I've,
good.
no, go, sorry, go for it.
No, I was going to say, I think that's one of the things that people don't realize about your product is, being able to use multitude types of equipment, not just an iPad. Yeah, I mean, you have the DSLR, you have the GoPro, you have the different interfaces, things like that. So I think
Yeah.
I remember years ago when you guys were just coming out and all the other iPad softwares, everybody was like, oh, the iPad stuff, that's going to go away in a couple of years. That's not,
Yeah.
that's not gonna fly. And now I would say industry wise, I think there's probably as many iPad booths, if not more, than there are DSLR booths.
Yeah.
Floating
Yeah.
around out there in the event. in our industry.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, I think that's something we anticipated. I mean, yes, I suppose we got somewhat lucky, but what what did help was, I guess, like a lot of the industry kind of as it does, it spoke, and it was like this is far easier to manage. You had Moby Booth creating booths that you could set up like in minutes, seconds, and coming from even our perspective of we were there, like we had these big booths that ran windows with massive screens and DSLR and all of this, and it was all these different peripherals that had to like connect together, and then one thing goes wrong, and then it's a disaster, or you get the blue screen of death with Windows, and then you're sitting in front of a client, and they're like, "Oh, what's happening?" And you're like, "Yeah, I don't know." So we had those issues. We dealt with those issues, myself and Rose, like in real time at all of our events for years. And so I think we just knew when we started using, because then again, we used the iPads at our own events and we did the photo booths with that. And it was just like, this is a game changer for us. And we know eventually the industry will see that and see that, what the possibilities are. And I think with iOS, we've been able to do stuff that we probably wouldn't have been able to do on Windows, just because like Apple provides amazing resources in terms of like their development kits and stuff that you just don't get really when you're developing for Windows. They make things easier, and like they provide integrations that make features possible and that sort of thing. So I think that's been something that's driving us and the entire industry in general. And yeah, we focused on just trying to be obviously in as many places at one time. We've actually launched on the M1, M2, and M3 now, so you can actually be having a lot of customers switching out. If you're talking about like updates, we're actually adding an update now to have an on-screen keyboard, adjust the layouts of our buttons and everything to accommodate for mirror booth. So now you could essentially take your mirror booth and slap a little Mac Mini in there, run Snappic. You can do printing, everything wired, DSLR wired, and run your mirror booth. But with Snappic, run your competitions on big screen. Pretty much have the same kind of mirror experience, but now including all the awesome features that we offer. So yeah, now we're across. I mean, you can use iPad, iPhone, Mac, DSLRs, GoPro, iPhone, like pretty much covering everything. So that was the goal. We're here now, and I think now it's just about adding features to just enhance all those hardware products.
Well, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing more. Is it a trend shift using AI? And I know that you guys have been working on that, also. So what do
Yeah.
you see? What do you see with AI coming forward?
So we're working on it. It's going to be released really soon. So we're also going to be talking about it on our class next week. It's a tricky one. We're in that position of, is this going to be like a fad and it's just going to come and go and people are going to get over it, or is it going to be one of those things that kind of like, I guess, revolutionizes every aspect of our lives? And if we talk about the industry we're in with photo booths, I don't know, the outputs that we see it still blows my mind. I'm just like, I don't know how this is happening. It just seems like magic. So I think that with that said, over time, will people see it, as a gimmick or something that's short-lived? I don't know. It is amazing, and I mean, we're super excited about it. It's just, we were so like excited, I guess, about certain features that we've released, and then it ends up being like, yeah, some people use them. It's not a game changer, or it's not like a must, and I think in terms of looking at like a general market across the board, most people just want to make money, and it's often hard for them to like upsell on products. Like we
Yeah.
find it, we're like, oh my word, there's this thing you can upsell it. It's amazing. Like you can ask for X amount more, and people are like, well, I kind of offered it, and my clients don't want it, and So we just, I guess we wait and see, but we're super excited. It literally is like magic. So yeah, we're excited for everyone to see that. And I guess we'll see how the industry takes it.
See, one of the things that I see with the industry is a lot of people don't know how to market their capabilities
Hmm.
and charge, what they're really worth, and using some of the simple things of your booth, your software, just to be able to market that above someone else, that it's not just a basic. Granted, a lot of people are just using basic filters, when
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
when they're events. But if you get people that really know how to use it, there's some amazing things that you can do with your software that can set you apart and above
Hmm.
your competition and warrant you charging 2 times, 3 times, 10 times more than what you are charging now. And I think that's one of the things I see with our industry is just people don't realize how to sell. They're thinking, well, I just need to bring in I need to bring in something, instead of they're looking at quantity over quality. And I think if more
100%.
people realized, hey, this is something that no one else in my area has or does or uses. I mean, I know for a fact that I utilize all my different softwares, and talking to the customer and finding out what they need, and then putting something together with whatever software you're going to use, whether it be an iPad or DSLR or Windows or whatever, um, is really key. And I wish more people would kind of take that and understand that you can do more and charge more
Yeah.
for your services. It doesn't matter that
Well,
there's
look, I
50
mean,
companies in your area.
well, look, that I think that's become a big problem in the industry is like dropping prices to compete on price. And I think that's never a good position to be in, competing on price. It can obviously cause, in terms of if you're looking at like disruptions and stuff, it is the case of, you'll find a lot of industries when people compete on price, it becomes a good thing because then they start building, the actual features and stuff. But when it comes to like photo booths, it's going to a point where it's just like insane. And then they're killing off other people in the industry where I guarantee you there's so many, especially like, let's just talk about the US and not worry about anyone else. Like,
Mhm.
because I mean, the other markets are massive as well, but like the US is insane. Like, there's so many people, there's so many events that, like, why are you worried about someone else? Like, we had it even in South Africa, we would always be worried about the competitors, what they were doing. That's irrelevant. It's always just about getting your customer and getting kind of the most, I guess, out of them, or finding the right customer and pitching correctly to that customer that you can provide them with like an experience. That's why all of our products, when we built like the competition feature, it's fully customizable. You can brand that for any brand and make it look, just specific to them. And that's something you can upsell. Video effects, we've made it super customizable. So yes, it's complex for a lot of people. But if you sit down and learn how to use video effects, you can create some amazing, amazing things. Like the gentleman I'm talking about in London, he's done insane movie premiere video effects things where he's done like the flash, and then people, he's slowed them down in like a whole set that he builds, and he makes, I'm sure, a killing off of those events because he sold the experience. And in general, if people focus on that, and instead of like, oh, I need to sell this, I need to just compete on price and drop it and then I'll get more business, they just focus on like selling their product and pitching, a great idea, and spending most of the time actually working on that. Like, and honestly, if you go and you dive into our software, you dive into any of the software platforms, like, I mean, Breeze is like, it also, again, it's super complicated, but you can do some amazing things. If you learn
Mhm.
these platforms, you can find a customer and you can pitch them something that they've never done before, and they will pay you money. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to compete on price. You just have to offer like a great service or a great product, and eventually you'll get the business. I think it is that simple, because I mean, I think we can say that because we've seen it across our users and we've seen it for ourselves. You know, we came straight out of college and we were doing that. We weren't trying to drop. We came in at a really high price, but we sold an experience for every single event that we did. It didn't matter what it was. So yeah, I think it is important, and I wish more people did that, because then they would have, you know, thriving businesses. I think especially these big corporate brands that have lots of money to throw around, it would be nice if it came to, you know, our industry and the people in our industry. So yeah.
And I think you hit on some really good points there, that, you know, it's not a commodity, it's the experience. And that's when you're pitching customers and things like that, you know, take their ideas and build upon it, and give them your own ideas. You know, what people don't know is, if someone's out there going to pitch, pitch a customer, I'm sure they can reach out to you guys for advice on, you know, hey, I've got, you know, Coca-Cola coming to me, and they'd really like to do something like X, Y, or Z. And I'm sure, you know, you and your team would be able to help, you know, facilitate that. Obviously, I mean, it would be specialized and things like that, but, you know, being able to go back to that customer and say, well, you guys were talking about this. How about we, you know, raise it a level and do this, you know, and
Yeah,
give them back something that
exactly.
they weren't expecting, you know, and raising the bar. And when you're raising that
Exactly.
bar, you know, charge the money, you know, that bar deserves. You know, you're not wasting your time. You know, people think, oh, well, you know, it's cookie. You know, people try and cookie cutter things, and, you know, when you're dealing with, now, granted, a wedding or a birthday party or something like that, very simple events. Yeah, you don't need to get, you know, super elaborate, depending on the type of weddings
No, no,
that you do.
exactly.
But I mean, when you're going after a corporate customer, you know, like, you know, multi-city event, or, you know, even in the same city, just multiple booths at the same function.
Yeah,
You know, it's nice having that all branded the same, or offering different experiences for different stations. You know, having 5 or 6 stations, each with its own theme. You know, and using that, your same software in the background for all of those. So when you combine everything, it looks seamless. And I think people don't realize that can be done very simply.
yeah. Well, exactly. And the thing is, we are available. Like, we've got a technical manager, we've got technical support team, that, you know, if someone comes on, and I think this is what we're finding, like, we, I mean, I can't speak for the rest of the industry. I don't know, you know, what other competitors have in terms of users, but what I do know is our users are doing the biggest events in the world, and it's across the globe. And we've got a lot of users who are doing insane events. And what we see more is those users will come to us and say, "Hey, you know, I want to do this. Do you think it's possible?" And then we can look at it and say, I mean, like I say, we've got Demir who runs some of our classes. He can tell you, like, he knows pretty much video effects in and out, and he knows our feature sets in and out, and he can say, "Hey, you can do this, this, and this." And I think, yeah, adding AI now, we've added a new flow to our tracked screens. We've got like a bunch of new things coming up for photos and stuff in the future that I think will be, this is used a lot, game changer. Because we're seeing a lot of people doing photos, even though we have an insane video pipeline. A lot of people doing photos still. It's still massive in our industry. So we are focused on making that experience even better. And again, offering as much customizability as possible so that our users, our customers can create experiences that are different from their competitor. So it doesn't matter, if someone else in your area is using the same software, you can kind of differentiate yourself, and that's always been important to us. And yeah, we're here to help as well, and come up, I guess, with concepts. We try to do that, like give as many concepts as we can to
Right.
our users. And I think a great resource. I don't know how you guys feel about plugging other things, but like photo booth marketing is awesome in terms of educating people on how to actually market themselves. I've seen it's been a game changer for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just being able to sell, and that's why we promote them, because it's helping everyone in the industry. It's not necessarily for our platform only. It's being able to sell your own products, and again, being able to say, I need Snappic for this, I need TouchPic for this, I need Curator for this, I need that's kind of what it is about. And they're amazing in terms of a resource to help people do that. So yeah, I think if
Yeah.
people want to learn and they want to grow their business, it's definitely possible. There's definitely resources. There's awesome software, awesome hardware. So yeah.
Yeah, Sammy and Ursula. I mean, I remember when they first came on the scene, and
Yeah.
I was like, who is this crazy bald headed Irishman? And
Yeah.
I still remember the original video that they posted way back when, like when they were just starting in, pushing their like first push.
Yeah.
And I remember, and Sammy, they just, and Ursula just has some amazing insight on marketing. I mean, they are one of a kind. Um, I
100%. Yeah.
always recommend people, to look at them for learning. They're really
Yeah.
one of the best resources out there.
And they drop more F bombs than anybody I've ever seen in my life. They're awesome. There's
You
no
know what?
filter. I love it.
Yeah.
You know what? Being straightforward
Yeah.
with people, I think that's one of the things they have a little bit of comedy, in their stuff,
A little bit, a
but
lot. It's awesome.
not a lot. But
Yeah.
when it comes to being serious,
Yeah.
they pull it back and they say, listen, you want to grow your business, you need to do 1, 2, 3, ABC. And if you
Mm-hmm.
do that, if you follow their strategies, they do have an amazing pulse on the industry, and where things are moving in the industry. They both do a phenomenal job. I mean, everybody that's associated with them. The video,
Yeah.
the
And look, the
promotional
thing
videos
is, this is exactly what I've been speaking about. Like, if we look at it from their perspective, a lot of people will say to us, but why would I go to photo booth marketing? Now I'm going to have the same stuff as everyone else. It's not the case. They teach you how to sell our stuff. Like the software out there, they teach you how to sell it properly. So yes, you may be looking at the same class, you may be talking about the same thing, but they're teaching you concepts that you can use to sell better. And there's, again, ample opportunity. There's so many different events happening. I mean, there's probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of events with photo booths happening throughout the year. And I guarantee you there's millions and upon millions more that don't have photo booths that could have photo booths. And I'm not even talking about corporate only, like I'm talking across the board. Corporate birthdays, bar mitzvahs, you name it. Like there's 100% events happening that could have a photo booth at that don't have a photo booth.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. It's like, stop competing on price. Just get learn these platforms. Get the resources like photo booth marketing. Get involved in it. Like, consume all that information, and then go out and sell like an awesome experience. Because I mean, YouTube's amazing as well for like just SEO and learning how to put together a website, or whatever the case may be, any aspect that you're missing. Because I find a lot of companies now don't even have a website, and I think it's still super important, even at this point in time. I still think it's important to have that for your brand. So yeah, there's a lot of things, and I think, again, Ursula and them and Sammy through photo booth marketing, they teach that sort of stuff. So yeah, I would also recommend that.
That's and like they say, don't be a pussy. Learn how to sell your stuff. And don't be afraid. That's I
Exactly.
think one of the things that I've taken away from them, and I've watched their videos. I've been on chats with Ursula, and she's just amazing. I
Yeah.
last year they did the pre PBX little mini expo, and the speakers that they had were phenomenal. And I hope they do it again this year.
They are.
Um,
They're definitely doing it.
the
Yeah.
mastermind,
Yeah. I saw
you
something.
know,
Kind of
I,
noticed.
I, I think they're doing it in September next year.
Is it in
okay,
I think they've
September?
moved
Oh, okay.
photo booth mastermind. I think they've moved it out. It's not going to be at the expo, I don't think.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I
Well,
could be wrong, but that's kind of what I've heard.
well, they haven't announced anything official yet, so But I'd love to get. I'm trying to get them on, to talk
Yeah,
and share some insight, because like you said, they know what they're doing. And I see people,
exactly.
oh, I'm just starting my photo booth business, where can I get resources? And you tell people, listen, just sign up, and they're like, oh, but it's so much money. Well, if you're going to invest all this money in equipment and
Yeah.
everything
Exactly.
else,
Exactly.
why not invest in yourself
Mm-hmm.
and learn how to make the money, and that money that you're spending investing in yourself, you'll make back and then some.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you follow what they're saying.
That's
And I think that's again also with the software, we find the problem of people are like, but it's so expensive. And we're like, but you could, if you invest in like, again, like a resource like photo booth marketing, or even, kind of you doing it yourself, going to YouTube, whatever the case may be, and you get to a point where you are selling an experience. Honestly, our software, anyone else's, the price is insignificant. We talk to like I'd say 90% of our users now. They're not complaining anymore about the price because now they know how to use our platform. They know how to sell our platform. Um, so it is you. Unfortunately, like you can't just think. I think people think in like tangible things, like, oh, I have this physical photo booth in front of me, it's tangible, and I know, okay, I've paid for something. I think
mm-hmm.
when it comes to like educational material or software, it's just like, oh, this isn't really tangible, so I don't know if I want to spend money. I think they just need to get over that, because again, there's people are making crazy money with our software. So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I know Zach's making, 7+ figures, 7 or 8+ figures a year. And, he doesn't do small stuff,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
so, but he's also, I mean, he's in New York, but he's doing stuff all over the country and all over
Yeah,
the world.
exactly.
And, the nice thing is they're, with the photo booth network and the photo booth community, is we've kind of built this community where someone can say, hey, I need help in XYZ city, and now there's people there that can
Yeah.
you know help you expand your business. And so when a customer says, well, I need to do this in 12 cities, and you throw it out in these groups, um, and you've got people in each of those cities that have equipment that you have, and you can use your one platform across all the events, it and making it seamless. So the experience in LA is the same experience in
Exactly.
London, the same experience in New York, or Brazil, all happening at the same time. And the customer's seeing all the data, because behind the scenes you guys are also capturing all that data, that's coming in via the emails or texts, and tracking what's going where and things like that. So that's something also that you can also utilize for your customers, for the marketing side. So it's not just
Well, that's the
getting.
thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, just like that is exactly like you hit it on the head there, because a lot of our customers just upsell analytics, data capture, the surveys, all those small things that literally don't cost them anything extra. They're just like, hey, I'll add this on for you at X amounts, or guess, what we can do with this is we can gather some data about these customers and build a survey there, or run a competition and then upsell that. Like, we have so many modules that they can upsell. And I mean, people have even found like a kind of niche in running like white labeled events using our Enterprise Plus. So, like you say, Zach wants to do something in London. He doesn't have a partner. He can use a partner in London and have them run that event for him. So there's just lots of ways, I think, to make money in the industry. And I think there is lots of business. People just need to go out and kind of find it. I would like to say, obviously, that we have some awesome features coming out really soon, and obviously our Black Friday specials are coming out soon. So if anyone's interested,
we have Black Friday coming out. So what are you able to share? A little bit ahead of time. Some new features coming out, or any specials coming that we can kind of prep for.
We launching early, like Black Friday specials on Friday. So it'll be a week early. So there's going to be Black Friday specials happening, and then we're launching kind of the updates with a bit of AI. It's going to be kind of a soft launch to a closed beta, just because generative AI is temperamental. So we have to kind of do large scale testing before we're, confident to give it to everyone. So we'll do a soft on that. And then as well as we've got, again, all those updates for kind of a mirror booth experience. So we can, you can run a proper mirror booth now with Snappic, and a bunch of other little tweaks with our track screen and the flow of that, different layouts for the buttons, that sort of thing. And then there's a couple other stuff for the future, which I can't really speak about, but also really big things that people have been wanting for a long time. So yeah.
So you're just teasing that little bit, saying, "Oh, we got something really cool coming."
I mean, they'll know soon. Let's say that.
So when you say soon, are you talking at PBX? Are you talking a little bit before? Are we talking,
for some of it, potentially days.
I'm trying to get it out of you. You know that. We're trying to get it exclusive here. We're working that angle. So
yeah, look. I mean, I was kind of saying in the back, we have a bit of a personal thing happening with one of our team members in the dev team. So we are slightly delayed on things. We actually would have liked to have, kind of had them, the updates and stuff out this week. But yeah, a bit delayed on that. So in a couple of days, I think we'll have some cool things to share.
Well, listen, if you want, we'll do a special episode whenever you want to announce it. We'll bring you back on. You can announce it here, and
cool. Thank you.
We're looking forward to it. Like I said,
awesome.
your product's one of the best out there. It's nice to
Thank
see.
You. Appreciate it.
You and I know James and the guys from Touchpick. How you kind of all. You would think that it would be separate, but I see how you guys talk. At the expos and coming across at different things.
Yeah.
It's neat to see you guys kind of, chatting about things. It's not. I know everybody wants to, come out with the newest thing and the well, I'm doing this, and everything else, and It's great to see
Thank
that
you.
in our
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah,
And
like I said, I think there's lots of business to go around. So yeah, I think we all want to thrive. At the end of the day, we're all trying to make a living, right? We're all trying to provide for our families, and provide, I guess, a future for our families, and like I guess live a good life. And I think it's just at the end of the day about everyone sharing in that rather than just like a few, I guess.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll continue. I mean, obviously, we want to thrive and we want people using us. But if someone's going to use us and they're going to use another platform as well, like, hey, that's awesome. I mean, that's just more money for our industry. It just means that people are getting bigger and better events, and that's, I think, just good for everyone.
Yeah.
well, what people need to realize is, there isn't one product that does everything for everybody. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
and that's why you need to kind of have your product, the DSLR, the Windows based products, so there is room out there for everybody, and you just need to sell and utilize what fits your customer and your events best. That's
Yeah,
why
for sure.
it's so nice that I see a lot of manufacturers now that are designing multi-platform type, booths like Moby booth with the, having the DSLR with the iPad. You got the Danny Max booths where you can swap out the faceplate and you can do iPad,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Surface Pro, the DSLR, and same thing with like the Min booths and stuff like that. Having that ability to use different technologies in one system. And I think that's what makes products out there very versatile, where you didn't see that before, but now with the
Yeah, yeah.
technology that's coming around, it's nice to be able to
Yeah,
see.
and this side, we also integrate with Danny's, with Max Design boots as well. So
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's a
yeah, it
whole.
See,
is
we
it is good. I think
know
it's
that.
it's good for the
We know
industry.
that. That's kind of why it's there.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
Danny's really good. We're Art and I are both friends with Danny. Danny's located near both of us,
Yep.
so
Well, I haven't
oh,
been down there
nice.
yet. I get yelled at. Well, I didn't get yelled at, but I should be yelled at. Lives close enough to us. But there's like
right.
made the list though. There's a few integrations. You've got Moby Booth, OrcaView, Zentech, Max Design, Dream Booth, Pickbox, right? Light. Um, are those the only ones that you integrate with? Are there other ones that are
No,
just not on the list?
yeah. So there are, again, like we've integrated with some generic controllers and stuff. So
Okay.
the list is not necessarily exhaustive, but yeah, there's a bunch of others, and then there's some that we're still integrating with. We again just want to be in as many I guess hardware platforms as
Hmm.
possible to give the consumer the choice, right? Like if they want to use one particular software again for one event and another for another or whatever. I mean, again, I would love it if people used Snappic for everything, but that's the thing. Why does the consumer not get the option, to run 5 events with this software and then run two with this other software and run,
Hmm.
one with another? And like, I feel like they should be able to do that,
Well, yeah, and
on the hardware. So
it's like competition though is very healthy because it keeps you on your toes to do better every day, right? If you were the only
yeah,
big player,
exactly.
it's very easy to get bored and stagnant, you know. So if you've got
No, well, I mean, that's the thing. If we didn't have competition, the money would be coming in and we'd be like, well, why is there a need? And it's the same across any industry or in any
yeah,
company, right? Like, why would they innovate I mean, I have this thing with the airlines. I absolutely hate flying because I feel like there's some price fixing happening on some
oh,
crazy scale across the airline industry, and so they don't really care. So it's just like,
yeah,
if everyone offers a terrible service, then who's going to complain? What are you going to complain about?
Yeah,
Everyone's bad.
I think
So
I think for us in the States are like the big ones insurance, which I don't think Canada has to worry about that, right? But there's like
yeah,
one big
yeah, no,
player of
no, we don't.
insurance for health insurance in the US,
Yeah,
and they can do whatever they want. They can charge whatever they want, and we're
exactly.
forced to buy it.
And they probably don't offer a great like user experience on any of their products, or it's just like it's non-existent. It's
Yeah. So,
It's really
yeah,
changed.
so that's the thing. Yeah, competition is healthy, I think, and it's really important.
Well, it's what's driving, it's what drives the technology, and the innovation, competition. Listen, there's a reason why, it's not just Ford Motor Cars and GM.
mhm.
You've got Ford, you've got Toyota. I mean, you've got a wide market out there, and there's a vehicle for everybody. It's a matter of style and
Exactly,
features, and that's the same thing, with
exactly,
our
Pur-
industry.
Purpose. There's Toyota. There's trucks.
exactly.
There's pickup trucks. There's vans. There's Mini Coopers. There's motorcycles. There's so many different vehicles that you can drive
Exactly.
and ride.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So, but well, we've almost hit the hour mark. Wait, nope, we've hit the hour mark. Dave, you were saying that'll be about a half
Nice.
hour.
I
So real quick,
think I
so
like to talk a lot.
It goes a lot quicker than what you think.
it does. See, that was
Yeah,
pain.
yeah. It does.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but before we like wind down the show, I just want to just cover again. People can go to your website, right, to find out about all the information about Snappic, about the pricing, the different features on it. Is this what I want to find out is because I'm guilty. I have not used. I tried Snappic a few years ago, and I haven't since. So I'm a bad person. So, but I'm going to try it again because I can't help it. I just don't have time lately, but I'm going to. But is this only on iPad? Is this available on other devices? Some people will say, well, is it available on Windows machines? Is it available on phones? Is it available on iPads or Macs? So can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So iPhone, Mac, but Apple Silica, so M1, M2, M3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so iPad, iPhone, and Mac in terms of the actual operating system, and
Yep.
then we integrate with like DSLR, GoPro, um, the robots, that sort of thing. So those robot arms.
Yeah. So
But yeah, it's
so if I have it on my iPad, right, and for some reason my iPad goes kaput, I could whip up my iPhone and continue the event on my iPhone, right?
yeah, yeah, because most of the event process is set up on the dashboard, and then you sync it down to your device.
Yeah.
So yes, you most certainly can. And then also like if you wanted to sign up, you could sign up and then join one of the demo calls. It's like
Yep.
I mean, sometimes it's one-on-one, but it's a very small group of like maximum of 10. You can
Mm-hmm.
ask questions. Either Tara or Leslie will run through a full event setup. And then from there, we're available obviously at any time through our chat, and you can ask pretty much anything. We've got, since you've probably been on us last, we've got a whole wide range of event templates. So if you've got an event you need to spin up quickly for 360 or for a birthday or wedding or not a Christmas office party, for example, we've got a template for that. You just pop it on,
Mm-hmm.
and then it pretty much uses that event. You just edit it a little bit, sync it to the iPad or iPhone, and you're good to go.
So if people want to try out a demo, like actually try it on their device, walk us through what they would do for that.
So all you need to do is just download the app
Mm-hmm.
and then sign up for an account. There'll be a demo event already loaded, so then you go onto that demo event once you've logged in, and you can test it out, and then obviously make any of the changes you want through the dashboard, either on that demo event or creating a new one, and then it'll sync automatically onto the device.
Cool.
But yeah, I
Um,
mean the best thing to do is obviously like register an account
yep.
and then get into the app, see how it works. If you have any sort of issues, you can either jump on the chat or jump into one of those demo calls,
Yeah.
which was that page you just opened there now. You can get a demo, and then so a little bit further down the page, yeah, there's a demo, and then you can schedule a time there on the right
Yep.
for.
And here's the
And then
chat.
that video just kind of is a run through.
Yeah. So this is the run
Yeah,
through.
and we kind of, I mean, our average response time is like less than, I don't know, it's 2 to 3 minutes or something less than that. So if you
I won't
message someone
test
there,
it now live.
you're welcome to test it if you want to.
I will say that one of the major compliments that I've heard about your product is your support.
Yeah.
Being really good. I know a couple of years ago you had that event or that issue, I guess, where the system went down for like a day or so.
Dave, why did you have to bring that up?
But listen, no, but see, this is the
The
thing.
Snappocalypse.
I remember that. But I mean, everybody was like so up in arms and everything. But you guys recovered from that, is what I was saying.
Yeah.
Is it was a way that you guys strengthened yourselves, which really you could have just rolled over and said, you know what, I'm sorry. But I know what you did for your customers because I remember talking to a lot of them back then, and you guys have fortified everything, and I think that's made you even stronger today. Listen, everybody, all the iPad companies have had issues. You're not the only one,
Yeah.
and so it's
Yeah.
nice to know that you had something, you made it right with people, and then you built on the 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 safety features to keep that from happening again. So
Yeah, look, we put
it
a,
wasn't
I
it
mean, we
wasn't
put a
meant
whole,
it wasn't meant to
no.
knock you at all. It was really I want people to understand of
Yeah.
what you did for customers to kind of make it right, and
Yeah.
God forbid something happens ever again, that's outside of your control or anything like that, or that's
Yeah. No,
the important thing.
yeah, no, thank you. I do appreciate that. Like we took that as a, kind of, I guess, a turning point for us. Like we put a whole team in place. Like we built insane infrastructure so that we can, scale, crazy. Because what happened was obviously it just like we grew really, really big, and we got massively screwed by the service provider that we were using at that time. And so obviously we were like, we can't do this anymore. We moved over to AWS, which I mean everybody knows it's Amazon, and like super solid, and they offer much better infrastructure. And yeah, we've got a whole team building the infrastructure in the background, because from that day it was like, no matter what, we have to have a super stable, reliable product, because as I said, we're dealing with some of the biggest events and like biggest brands in the world, and you can't have, obviously anything go wrong. So yeah, we definitely, that wasn't a great time for us. But yeah, we
I know.
recovered.
I remember talking to you, back then about it, and
Yeah.
it's like I said, I wanted people to just understand that infrastructure, migration that you've done since then has really catapulted you from what I see, to
Yeah.
that's it's in the past, but you guys have come so far past there now for your customers
Yeah.
that I think it really does lay testament to you as to the product that you actually have. It's not
Yeah. No,
glitchy.
thank you.
It's a solid thing out there that can be trusted.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah. I mean, we've had, are we at like, I don't know, 99.99% uptime. So we have, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that, because we have focused on that specifically, and we've always just tried to, to make sure that our product, whether it's like an app update or the actual infrastructure, is just always rock solid.
It has been, and that's because that's something that I monitor in the industry. I mean, obviously, I'm not a manufacturer. I don't make software. I don't make hardware. I'm just an end user like everybody else.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people out there. But I like to keep track of everything that's going on in our industry.
yeah, no,
Because
for
when
sure.
people for some reason people think that I know a lot about this industry. I don't know why they would think something like that. It's, I have no idea why, but it's nice that to see the products because I've seen many
Yeah,
companies come and go. Since I
yeah,
started in this industry, and whether it be software manufacturers, I've seen the iPad companies come and go, and I've seen the hardware people come and go,
yeah,
and big people that just disappear from, one year to the next. But
yeah,
the
no,
nice thing is, seeing more and more companies come back and innovate is what I think is really key.
yeah, yeah, no,
So,
agreed.
but I want to thank you so much. I mean, I know we were back and forth to try and get you scheduled for this. I hope you had a good
Yeah,
time tonight. I know
yeah, no, it
that
was awesome.
Art and I really enjoyed having you, and like I said, I had a ton of people that wanted me to get you on here to talk about your product.
I'm looking forward to that release.
Awesome,
Like,
yeah,
can't wait to see what's all the AI stuff you were talking about.
yeah,
The other magical things you have happening.
yeah. Yeah, and I think like again, I can't really speak about stuff,
That's
but like
okay.
early next year,
It'll
we've
come.
got some cool stuff as well. But I think all the stuff this is going to be quite a big update.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're quite excited about it.
Cool. Well, next week is Thanksgiving. So we are not going to be having a show next week because I actually
Yeah.
cook. Do you guys cook? I cook. So I got to cook
I
tonight.
love, yeah, I love to cook.
Yeah.
I cook a lot.
Yeah. I eat a lot too.
I, I eat a lot too. Uh,
So, but
Well,
I was
listen,
brought up
somebody
with,
has to sample the cooking.
yeah, I know I was brought up with a Portuguese
Oh,
grandparents, and
yeah.
they just feed Portuguese people are feeders. So yeah,
I think just grandparents in general, they're feeders.
grandparents in general, yeah,
They're making up for all the food that they didn't feed their children. So now they're feeding their grandchildren a lot.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you,
Cool.
Julio.
You too. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we'll see you in person at PBX, right? You're
For
going
sure.
to be there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I will be there. I wasn't there this last PBX just because had the birth of my child, my first child. So, but yeah, I'll be at the next one.
Awesome,
But yeah,
cool.
I'll see you there. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. And yeah, keep well. Have a
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you,
good
and
Thanksgiving as well.
yeah, thank you very much, and for all those watching, have a great Thanksgiving. We will
Yeah.
see you in just a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks. Yep.
Couple more
Cheers,
weeks.
everybody.
All right, that's it. Bye, guys.
Cool. Cheers, eh?